get to the younger kids and educate them. And we talk about heroin. We talk about the addiction that it is and how difficult it is to come off from that. We try to bring awareness. And every chance I get, when I have a kid in my courtroom that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever, I talk about this. I talk about not texting and driving, because that can kill you too. You know, it's a different subject matter, but the fact of the matter is, any opportunity I get to have a kid in front of me, I use it to educate them.
I appreciate that.
Well, there's no more questions, or else the Reverend will send me directly to H.E. Double Huckles. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for the questions. If anybody needs to see me, anybody needs my card, I'm hanging out over here. Come see me. You come see me.
Our list of speakers just are dynamic in their own way. Don't you think? Give them a big round of applause. I'm going to take some authority, though, a little bit. And again, I want to say that only for the grace of God, I haven't found it necessary to pick up a drug or a drink in 32 years. And I'm giving God the glory on that. And I have a word for all of us. And that word is abstinence. And I know the way the world's heading and changing at this point, but if I smoke a joint, then I'm going to want to drink. And if I want to drink, then I want to go back to what I used to do. See, this is a terminology when I work with other addicts myself, mentoring them. I let them know when I was on the street, I was firing for the effect. And a guy like that, I was going the opposite direction. And these guys over here didn't want to see him. Unfortunately, I did. But yet, in recovery, it talks about abstinence. And then it says in the literature, there is one that has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. I worked with a man years ago, and he called me and he was all upset. And I said, "What's going on, Steve?" And he said, "I'm having all these issues." And I said, "Well, what's the literature say?" It says, there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him when, Steve? And he said, soon. And I said, that's the problem. That's the problem. Abstinence comes with the grace of God behind you. Now, I've given you a little bit of background, and now, before we go through and look at the wonderful things Superman Ministries has put together, I want to read something to you. And it comes from Nehemiah 2, and this is what Superman Ministries is all about. Nehemiah 2 is ordinary people like you. Everybody say me. Everybody say it louder. Me. You who have come together for this event, from Homestead, from Upper St. Clair, to Beachview, to Bethel Park, to the West End, from the South Side, we come together for a cause. And it says, it came to pass in the 20th year of the king, the wine was before him, and I took up the wine. And the symbolism of the wine for today is he took up what the world was offering, okay? Nehemiah was the cupbearer. I'm the cupbearer. You're the cupbearer. You're taking, they are the cupbearers. They take on the poison before the actual death comes. They stand in between, and so do I. And Nehemiah said, now I had not been before time sad, in his presence. He was before the king. He was before the world, and he was sad. And then it says, what for the king called and said to me, why are you sad? Now I'm going to ask you, why am I sad? Why am I sad and why am I here? Tim's evidence of it. I'm sad because 13 years ago, my daughter Tracy, beautiful, athletic, 21-year-old, died of a heroin overdose. That's why I'm sad. And in the Bible only talks about the word sad 4 times. 3 in the New Testament, 3 in the Old Testament, and 1 in the New Testament. And that's with Jesus, and then the 2 men are on the road, and he says, why are you so sad? And see, I'm sad because I had to watch my own daughter die of an addiction. And Tim Grealish called me. Tim Grealish knew her through the rehabs. Tim Grealish left me a message, and he told me about how sad he was about my daughter. And see these names up here? That's the world, and that's sad. Wouldn't you agree? That's sad. And guess what? These officers here, it wouldn't surprise me if they heard a call over their radio, somebody dying right now as a direct result of why we're here. Already, okay, did you hear that? Did you hear that? 3 people, they've got 3 calls already. 3 calls about fatality. And they said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad? When the city like Pittsburgh, Upper St. Clair, Bethel Park, the place where my father is, this is an old neighborhood. This gentleman over here, he's lived here for 68 years, and the neighborhood has changed. Has everybody's neighborhood changed? Mike, where you came from, has your neighborhood changed? Has your neighborhood changed? Has your neighborhood changed? Mine surely has. I come from Beachview. It's all changed, right? Everybody's shaking their head. Now, I want to see a raise of hands. How many of you know died from a direct result of drugs or alcohol or gun violence? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Look, there's not a hand that's not raised. And you can go into a church that's full like a street should be, and every hand would be raised. There's no bias when it comes to the rapture of the real thief, the enemy that comes at night to devour, destroy, and steal. So Nehemiah, he continues and he says, then the king said to me, what request do you have? And I prayed to the God of heaven. And he said, if it pleases the king, if the third servant been found favor in thy sight, and thou would send me to the West End, or to Bethel Park, or in the middle of Pittsburgh, he'd go. And the king said to him, for how long shall the journey be? We don't know. All the people here, the officer, the senator, the judge, and Tim, and all of you, ordinary people, we don't know how long the journey's going to be, but we're going to the wall. And the letter that the keeper of the king's force, that he may give me timber to make beams of the gates of the palace. Here's the timber right here. Here's the timber right here. And God sent the timber. God sent sponsors so this stage could be built in honor of God and all the lives that have been lost and are dying right now before us. And then we shoot over to, and it says, and then Nehemiah, that's you. Everybody say me. I rose in the night, all the officers, and some few men with me. See, in Acts The Apostle John and the Apostle Peter went before the world, and they said, how do these ordinary men and women able to stand the way they stand? Why? It's because of God in their lives. And then we go down, and it's verse 17. And in Hebrew, the 17th number is the number of victory. And it says this. Then I said to them, you see the distress we were in, how this city lays waste, and the gates are burned with fire. Come, let us build up a wall in Pittsburgh. In every borough, let us build up a wall, and that's why we're here. It begins here. That we be of no more reproach. And then I told them of the hand of my God, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he has spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build. And that's why we're here today. That's our hope. It doesn't take an army. It takes a village to build. I'll say that again. It doesn't take an army. It takes a village to build. And we are here for that purpose. And our hope is in God Almighty. And you know, we live like this, and it said, there's a penny right there, and what do they say? Find a penny, pick it up, what? All day long you have good luck. No, pick up that penny, and what's it say? In God we trust. And that's why we're here today, because this is it. In Deuteronomy 30, it says, God says, I call upon all the witnesses of heaven and earth upon you. And he said, I set before you life and blessings and curses and death. And God says, before you choose, your God, my God says, I asked you to choose life. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my proud honor to introduce Superman Ministries drama team as they perform the song Alive. Give them a big round of applause. Bruce.